This is a Union Machinist tool chest, I guess is what it was. I don't always get all the details of everything in the emails from customers, but that's what I got in the email. It's a Union Machinist handle. I've done Kennedy's from vintage Kennedy toolboxes, and the other ones that I've done are Gerstner's. I've been trying to get away from these, but it seems like every time I try to get away, one comes up and I just can't turn it down. This one's in better shape than most of them that I get. It does need some work underneath the leather. It's got some soft spots and such. We'll take care of that, and I'll take you along for a ride. So saddle up, let's go. Find my knife here. Let's get started. I got a baggie. I always put the old leather back in a bag, send it back to the customer. You do what they want with it. Some of this leather is pretty rough here. But if I'm careful, I can get it off without ruining the paper underneath. And that's kind of the name of the game here. So to try to loosen this up, this is just a dye brush. I'm just gonna try to loosen up some of that glue. I will say it doesn't always work that way, but you can hope. The ends are the places that get the most damage to them. Now there's a soft spot right here. It's not very bad, so I'm just gonna try to fix that as I go here. Now this is trying to take some paper with it. Just trying to cut that off. Get our baggie open. Looks like most of it's come off pretty good. So the old leather came off pretty well. I'm pleased. I'm actually really excited that it came off that easy. So I'm going to go ahead and tan coat this You don't really need to see me do that, but all it is same tan coat I use on anything else, but I'm just using it on paper, and it just to hold everything together. And I'll give it a light sanding, and I may be ready to. That might make it so I'm ready to go ahead and recover it already. So that's exciting to me. So I will be back. Alright, that's tan coated. If I'm out here long enough, I'll put a second coat on, but I probably won't be, because I'm going to go in the house, have some dinner. Have dinner with my wife. So, yesterday, I used a little white glue to glue down some of the pieces of paper that were kind of just flying wild. And then I just kind of coated this whole bottom part with white glue. White glue will dry clear, so it's not a big thing to do, but it really firmed us up, which is what I was after. Kind of firming some of this up so it's not so squishy. This is probably one of the best conditioned handles I've had to work on of all the handles that I've done, which granted is only probably about 6 or 8 of them, but it's been a few. Alrighty, so I'm back with this handle. The handle is all ready to accept the new leather. I'm so pleased that this was in good shape to begin with, and I was able to take the leather off it, the old leather off it, because then I could use a little acetone and I could kind of dissolve the glue so that it didn't stick to all the paper behind it. That way I could keep the paper intact as much as possible, which I did, and I'm very happy for that. So the time that I don't have to put into fixing the paper, I put into dyeing a piece of veg tan black. This is a 2 to 3 ounce sheepskin, veg tanned sheepskin. I usually use it for lining holsters and that sort of thing, but it's good stuff. This is what I did the very first one, first handle I did, the Gerstner handle, that's on here. I didn't have them put all the handles that I've done on YouTube, it'd be silly, but I decided I would go this way. My customer did allude to the fact that they would prefer black as opposed to going with the kid skin that is all pre-dyed. It is a 2 to 3 ounce as well, and it's being chrome tan, it's much stretchier in all directions, and it's a lot easier to do this with. But we'll get the leather really wet, flip it over, glue the backside, glue the handle, contact cement, and this is just regular weldwood contact cement. Sticks okay even if it is wet. So we'll get it wet, apply our glue, we'll put 2 coats of glue on, and then we'll put glue on the handle. We'll start getting after it. It's going to be a little time consuming, so I'm going to let you watch. I will probably not show you everything because it gets a little rough. Just give it a minute or two to set up a little bit. I don't want it to set up all the way because I want to be able to, pull it off if I have to. And we start on the bottom, right on the inside here, because we want to roll it over to the top, and the seam is on the top. So I want to make sure I've got enough hanging off on both sides there that I'm going to be able to roll it around. Alright, now I gotta cut away some of this because it's just too much to work with. At the same time, I didn't want to come up short. Lots of clips. Once again, this tool. Got some wrinkles in here. And they are not necessarily all going to come out. Am I going to try? Yup. So this one I'm going right along my seam here and pressing that together good on both sides. Need a few more clips. I just gotta break into the stash. These new ones I've got though, they're not as strong. So I think I've got everything centered pretty well. So I've got most of the wrinkles out down in here, which is where you usually get them, is right in the corners here. Got most of those out. A couple little errant ones here and there. My hope is always that it will dry and those will start coming out of it. So it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna let it dry, and I'll let it sit at minimum 24 hours. I'll check it tomorrow. I'll probably leave it sit for, I might take the clips off it tomorrow and leave it sit for another day. But I don't want to start working it for at least 2 days. Want that leather good and dry, and I want the glue good and dry. Well, it's had 24 hours. So I'm checking her out. It's looking pretty good. There's still a few little wrinkles in here. It's going to be that way. There isn't a lot I can do about it. And when I go to make my stitch holes around here, I'll use a chisel to mark them. But then I will use a awl to punch the holes. So I'll do those very gingerly. And I won't trim it until after I've gotten all the stitching done. I might trim it a little more than what it is now. Maybe not. So that's where I'm at. Now I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to touch it anymore. I lied. And I'm just going to leave it this way till tomorrow because I want everything good and dry. I could go along here and wet this down a little bit just to get some of, you can see some marks in there from the clips. But most of that will never be seen because of the stitching. So I don't know how, carried away I want to get with that. But I want it good and dry. I want the glue especially dry, because as you punch through with your awl, it will kind of push away a little bit. We don't want that. And for an awl, I'll be using, this one is a yeah, this is one of them I got from Tandy. This is a Sense. And it's a really nice awl. I really like it. It's a diamond one. I also have the flat French awl. Oh, there you go. But this case I want to use the diamond. It's a little bit smaller than the French. This is the smallest diamond awl that I could find. So, I have other ones. I don't remember what this one was. Got no marking on it. We've got this one. It works pretty good too. Then when I'm doing a little heavier leather, I'll break out this one. This is a CS Osborne, all halved, and the awls themselves can be changed out. And I've got probably 3 or 4 different sizes of those. So there we go. Till tomorrow. I'm here. So I'm going to take, this is a 3.38 millimeter French chisel. I want the spacing a little bit closer than I usually do the 4 millimeters. I want it a little closer. I'm not going to make holes with this. What I'm going to do though is just kind of mark them. And just gotta kind of push into it there. Doggone it, mosquito flying around here. And I'm keeping my holes real close to the handle. Alright, like I said, I was going to use an awl to punch these holes. So I've got my Sense awl here. And I'm going to start anywhere really. Sometimes I will, on these awls, like my other awl has a little dot on it. and so I know how to hold it. Sometimes it's nice to have something. I'm always looking at it anyway. But when it comes through the other side, I want it close. Now if I start feeling my awl dragging a little as I pull it in and out, I'll take it to my strop right here and just sharpen her up, because we don't want any funkiness going on. Your awl should pierce that leather very easily. Got all my holes punched through now. Now it's just a matter of sewing it up. I'll get that trimmed off nice. I'm going to start in that first hole. And I'm going to do a double binding stitch coming around the end here. Zoom this back out. So this is going to be my front side for the sake of argument. Bringing my back needle around to the front, making sure to keep my threads out of the way. And my front needle. Going around the back, again making sure I keep my threads out of the way. Don't want to poke them if you don't have to. So I want to keep that down really close to the handle. Now, I'm not expecting to have that nice angled stitch like I like the angled stitch. I think it looks good. On something like this, you're not going to get it just because of the nature of how it works, how close it is and all. You won't get it. I'm down to my last stitch, and then I have to go. So this will be just a regular normal stitch, and these are going to be hidden in the end. I want to do, there's two ways I can do this. I can either come around and just do it like I did the other side, which is what I'm going to do, but I can come out under the leather here and tie a knot, or I can just melt it. It doesn't make that much difference because this part is going to be hidden under usually like a piece of brass or something. So I'm just going to do that, and then I will go back a stitch. Or two. That brass piece is going to come to right about here, just about at the edge of that curve. So I could come back one more, and I think I will. And now that it's stitched up, it looks pretty well centered. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. We'll just snip that down. This is one of the places where you just can't get in there with the blue part of the flame. There we go. We're all melted off. I've got to go pick up my wife since I borrowed the car today. And we'll be back at it tomorrow because I'm not feeling like coming back out tonight. I need to start trimming all this, the rest of this away now that I've got it, you know, it's all stitched up. It does look like it's fairly well centered. There is a point where you're not going to get any better, and I think that's the point that I'm at. So I got this block is drilled to hold my bits for my rotary tool. So I'm just gonna, I took the bits are out, and I'm just gonna use this as kind of a backing so that I can follow along the stitch line as well as possible. I always hate this part because if I go too far, I have to start over. So that's why I absolutely hate doing this. Let's see. This one's got a good blade on it. Like I said, I keep these things all over the place. I love these little snap knives. So my head might get in the way because I'm trying to get over the top of this. Nope, the rest needs to be done by hand. I'll even everything up, sanding with 220, and then I will try to go around with a beveler and just edge bevel that. But you don't need to see me doing a bunch of sanding. So I'll get this done, turn you back on, and we'll get after the rest of it. I got to shave down a bit. A little more hand sanding. Alright, I think I am comfortable enough where I'm at to go ahead and start burnishing this. And we're just going to burnish the top of the seam like we would any other seam. Keep that out so I remember to strap that before I put it away. So, now these will generally take 2 or 3 sandings to get it to where I'm happy with it. And it's just like burnishing any other seam. So I'll keep after it. I'm a little off here, a little off center, but really there isn't much that can be done to help it. The old handle creates a groove in the actual substrate, the paper substrate, and you can't always get beyond what it's doing. It's going to kind of do what it wants to do. There's where we're at, and this is going to be the final burnish. I decided to use Tokenol for that, and I'm just down to 400 grit. Didn't see any need to go past that because it's pretty darn nice looking. Well, that looks really good. I'm going to let this dry for a couple hours, and then usually when I do these handles, my finish that I put on them is I just use a couple coats of Connolly's hide care on them. It seems to work out pretty well, and it's been the only thing I've done for, well, every handle I've made. Just a little Connolly's seems to do the trick. So I'll be back in a couple hours. We'll finish this up. Connolly's will typically give you just a little bit of a sheen, not a whole lot, but I like what it does on something like this raw leather, as opposed to, you know, usually I'm using it on refurbishing holsters, but well, there we go. That's the first coat of Connolly's. I'll put another one on it, but I'm not going to bother showing you that. I think this handle turned out pretty darn nice. Alright folks, there it is, the Union Machinist handle, toolbox handle. It came out really well. I'm quite, I don't know how well it's all going to show up. I'm quite pleased with it. It came out very good. Pretty close to center on there. I couldn't get it much better. I'd have to try really hard. I'd have to fill that groove in on the top. It gets to be so much work. Anytime I've got to fill a spot in, filling a place it just takes twice as long. Because you got to fill it, sand it. Usually you got to fill it again, sand it again. It just takes time. So this one came to me in pretty decent shape. I was able to use some acetone get the old, break free that glue that was holding the old leather. So I was able to peel the old leather off, which I have in a bag here somewhere. It'll go back with the handle. I always send it back. But that's going to be it. I'm going to go in, watch Svengoolie with my wife, have a little dinner. You can drop me a comment below. Let me know what kind of stuff you want to see. I do quite a bit around here. Not all of it is leather related. I've thought about starting a second channel for that stuff, but I don't know. I don't know if anybody'd watch it. I do stupid stuff. Fix cars. Well, I do what I can anyway. My back has gotten significantly worse over the last year, and I can't do a whole lot anymore, but sitting in here for about 3 hours at a crack is about all I can do. But there we are. I've got a couple of special projects that I'm working on that'll be going out hopefully soon. That are for some viewers like you. And stay tuned for more. We'll see what we got coming up. If you got suggestions, questions, comments, there's a whole section down there for you to leave them. Take a second, hit that like button. I really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks for watching.